What is up, everybody? I'm George Mossey. So, 90 Day Fiance, The Single Life, Season 3, Episode 8. This has probably been the best season so far. It's one of my favorite spinoffs. I don't have a lot of time to conversate with you guys. A lot has happened. So, I'm going to jump right in. So, Veronica was back. She wasn't on the show last week. And Justin has dropped the bomb on her that he is moving to Florida. Now, we know when she was on last, they were on a trip together, and he revealed, after they slept together, by the way, that he might be moving to Florida, and now we found out that he is moving to Florida, and it is a priority that he has prioritized for his ex. They are separated, not together, but it would be better for them to move together. And he actually asked Veronica if it was possible, even though they've only been dating for a short amount of time, for her to move with him to Florida. Now, Veronica is confused because she's trying to figure out why he is prioritizing his ex over literally what he wants. Now, yes, he does have a child with her, and it would be better for them in a co-parenting situation to be close together and be on the same page. But why would Veronica have to move her child and her life to be with him for something that he didn't even bother to tell her until after sleeping with her? So Veronica has basically said, this has been a waste of my time, and she has walked away from the situation, and she's questioning what the relationship is between Justin and his ex. It definitely sounds like some sort of weird throuple type situation. I don't understand how he and his ex are making decisions together, but they are dating other people, and he is asking other people to enter into these strange relationship terms with him. So I don't think Justin is going to be able to torture Veronica anymore. She has given those ranks to any woman in Florida who's willing to enter into this strange throuple situation that he is offering. Let's move over and go over to Debbie. So it's time for Debbie to leave Toronto and head back to Las Vegas, and she's packing up her house. And she spent so much time trying to decide whether or not moving in with Tony was the right thing for her to do. She didn't actually tell anyone that she was moving, and that includes her friends, family, cults. No one really knows yet that she's actually taking the plunge and moving to Canada. And now that she is actually packing her stuff and the reality is setting in, she realizes that when Tony comes down to help her drive back up to Toronto, she has to fix things between her and Colt. Colt needs to at least be aware of what she's doing, and in her perfect world, he should at least approve of the relationship that she has with Tony. Now, we know the last time that she and Colt got together, it was an explosive conversation, and he has actually called her an emotional, unavailable mother. So whether or not Colt is going to be on board with his mom moving so fast and then moving to another country, even though it's Canada, we're very friendly with Canada in America, and we know that she will be fine in Canada. It's just such a fast situation, and Colt and his mom's relationship was so close. It's almost insane to think that they aren't on speaking terms. I know Vanessa has had a lot of issues and struggles with how close they were, and now that they have moved away from that, it really seems to be hitting Debbie emotionally. She is unable to really cope not having her miracle son. We actually learned that her first child that she unfortunately lost, Colt, is her second baby, and he was a miracle baby. He was born premature, and he made it through after she was told she could never have kids. So Colt is a huge part of Debbie's life, and I really, really hope that he has an open mind based on his mom's relationship with Tony and the decisions that she's made. All right, so let's head over to Aruba. So Tania is still in Aruba, and she has a very special guest. It's her sister Drea. Now, even though they don't share the same mother, they do share the same father, and their relationship is even closer than sisters. They are literally best friends. They talk about everything together. They share advice. They listen to each other. They see each other. And actually, Drea is catching up with Tania, and she finds out that things with Joel did not work out. So Joel had a major issue with Tania still being married. Now, a lot of people at home, you guys still have an issue with that as well, because you don't understand how you can be uninterested in being with a person, uninterested in pursuing anything with them anymore, yet you're still in a relationship with them because you're married. And why wouldn't you want to end that chapter? So a lot of people are questioning that situation, but Joel couldn't seem to get over that situation. He couldn't deal with the fact that he would be dating a married woman. And it could be a cultural thing as well, guys. In a lot of cultures, it's not okay to date someone who is married. It's not okay to do those things. In America, we have a very laxed moral compass when it comes to those things. So we don't know exactly why that relationship ended, but we know that Joel definitely couldn't get over the fact that she was married, and Tania was not interested in closing that chapter in her life right now. So we actually also learned that Tania has always been attracted to women. So we know that she had her first kiss, and it was with a girl at the time, and it's actually at a slumber party. And she's always had an attraction for women. And she met a beautiful woman named Daphne at a party that her friend was throwing, her friend Tony, and she thought that things were going to go a different way. Unfortunately, Daphne was engaged. She was off the market. But Tania is actually taking the advice of her sister Drea and stop blocking off herself from love. She's not going to keep withholding herself from getting to know new people. And she's opening up the dating pool to everyone, men, women, whoever is interested in Tanya is exactly who she is going to let in and give a chance. And I think that that's the best way to go when it comes to trying to find love. You can't have so many standards and so many turnoffs and so many issues with people when you're trying to find the right person, because some people have two horrible traits and 100 amazing traits about themselves. And if you weed them out for those two bad things, you're missing out on an amazing person. So Tanya is definitely ready to find love, and she is no longer closed off. She is ready to open up and stop being as picky as she was, because she definitely doesn't want to get hurt again, but she knows that love is something that you will get burned when you reach for it. All right, guys, so let's talk about Caesar. So Caesar is getting ready to leave the Ukraine after meeting with Alona. It's been less than a week, and Caesar is already referring to Alona as his soulmate and the woman of his dreams. Now, we've seen Caesar do these types of things in the past. Caesar falls in love with the idea of being in love, and then he kind of feels like he can get to know them after the fact. Once he meets her and she's beautiful and she's everything that he would want physically in a woman, that's when he decides that's his girlfriend, and then he can get to know her and they can work out the details later. Now, whether or not that's going to happen with Alona, we don't know, because I really feel that Caesar and Alona don't have a lot in common. There's a language barrier, and I don't really see what they will do together to complement each other. So I know they both like going to the gym, but I don't know, guys. I don't know if I want to go to the gym every single day, and a gym isn't a date for me. I want to do something fun, and I want to be able to express myself other than lifting extremely heavy weights. And also, Russia is beginning their invasion of the Ukraine, putting things even more uncertain for Caesar, because he just doesn't even know how safe Alona will be in her own town, and he can't go back for 2 months. And actually, once this war begins, he's unaware that the war will be beginning right after he leaves. He might not even be able to go back then. So how long is he going to be in a long distance relationship with Alona? And if he is in a long distance relationship with Alona, how long will that last? We're just going to have to keep watching and see how this relationship unfolds. So let's switch gears a bit and head over to Frederick, Maryland. So we've been watching Tiffany, and she has been dating Fabian, who is actually a former flame of hers. Things have actually been going really well, as so we thought. So we find out that after Fabian invites her to New Jersey to see his home and to see his salon and to meet the people that are around him in his life, he has kind of went radio silent. He's kind of cut off communication with Tiffany. He's not answering the phone. And even when she called him on the show, he responded with a text message saying, "I'll call you tomorrow. A lot of things have happened," only to not actually follow through and call her. So it's kind of like playing games 101. And Tiffany is definitely not in the place at her journey for finding love to be playing games. She has been through that, and she definitely feels like she needs someone who is going to be open and honest with her and actually be real and say what's on your mind. Games are such a hard part of the dating world, and people just want to eliminate the game playing from dating. It's just so hard. Just try to be as honest as possible with who you're talking to, and if you're not feeling the situation and you want to end it, nothing is wrong with saying how you feel. Guys, eliminate these games. So actually, this failed relationship with Fabian has made Tiffany wonder, is it time for her to try to fix things with her husband? Now, she and Ronald are still currently married. On paper, they aren't together, but they are co-parenting because they have a beautiful daughter together. They're talking pretty regularly, and Ronald is very active in her life due to the fact that they do have a family together. So would it be a good idea for Tiffany to try and work on her marriage? Instead of finding someone completely new, she can repair something that she had been building for so many years. Now, a lot of people at home thought that Tiffany and Ronald's relationship together was a bit toxic, but again, people change, relationships change, dynamics change. So we do know that Ronald has had issues getting a green card. So is this meaning that Tiffany might be moving all the way out to where Ronald is in South Africa? We have to keep on watching because we all love Tiffany. She's one of our favorite cast members this season on The Single Life, and we know that she has options. So whatever her option is, I hope it's the right option for Tiffany. So last but not least, we got this interesting scene with Natalie, and we found out after she arrived back in Florida from seeing Josh, she became aware of the situation in the Ukraine where she is from, where her mother was still living. And Mike actually reached out to her when he found out the news and asked what he could do to help. And the money that was sent over for Natalie's mom to leave and go to Bulgaria to be safe while she's waiting on her refugee interview to come over to Florida to be with Natalie in safety, Mike is the one who provided that money to get her safe. Now, I really love the idea that Mike and Natalie didn't work out, but Mike still has a deep love and care for her and her mother, because you don't turn those things off. And I always felt like Mike always loved Natalie. They just didn't have a fair shot at the relationship because Natalie was always giving Mike the hardest possible time in that relationship. And it was always about, you're at work and you're not spending enough time with me. You're not making me a priority. And I just feel like they didn't have a fair shot. So Natalie is heading back to Washington to apologize to Mike for the way that she left, pick up some of the things that she did leave behind, like her clothes and her passport. But she's actually willing to open up and see if this is a relationship that she and Mike can actually repair. That's right, guys. Mike and Natalie might be repairing their relationship. This season on The Single Life, a lot of people seem to be rekindling old flames. What do you guys want? Do you want Mike and Natalie back together? Do you think Natalie and Mike were a good match? I personally thought that when they weren't fighting, they did get along, but they were fighting more than they weren't. So I'm not sure. So you guys got to tell me in the comments below. Should Mike and Natalie give this another shot? Should Ronald and Tiffany give it another shot? I want to know what you think. All right, guys, I'm George Mossey. This is the 90 Day The Single Life podcast. Make sure you follow me on all social media at George Mossey and at georgemossey.com for all your 90 Day Fiancé news and updates.